that are, wanting to bring out new things. We got to see the CLG Pantheon. The Karma train's coming up there, 2 energy games, as well as 1 from Renegades. We'll see if there's anything new in this one.
Yeah, well, Matt has definitely shown the most success on Bard, which has been his best champion in solo queue. He used to have the name Matt Life. In even, I think it was Kasing who had a good Bard game over in Europe, said he only started playing Bard because he saw Matt Life play Bard over in NA and was like, wow, this guy's really good at this champion. He kind of unlocked the potential. So it's like a world-renowned Bard. I think you should just play it whenever you can. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think Bard has enough bad matchups. If you're that good at him, you should be drawing a banner picking it.
And we know Adrian won't play it because he's not high up in the solo queue tier list here. So pick it up whenever you want. Poppy grabbed away. Soraka banned. Janna left up, which is interesting because I feel like Immortals picked Janna over Soraka anyway. But the ban comes through regardless to make that not happen. Poppy still being picked happily by teams in 6.3 after her minor nerfs. That does leave Corki on the table, but neither team want it. It's the Gragas who's rushed for, still at Kalista.
They also picked the Poppy over Kalista, which I think is somewhat questionable. Kalista was banned 9 out of 10 games in the European LCS, has been banned the majority of the time in the NA LCS. 100% presence this week, pick ban. And Poppy you cannot say the same about. Also, Piglet is a really good Kalista, and Wild Turtle has shown some incredibly good games on it. I think it just gives too much versatility to Immortals, who's already a versatile team.
And now we're going to see if Liquid decide they want the Rumble or not. Rainover did play it yesterday to minimal effect. Goes on to Gragas this time around. Of course, it's champion he's very good at. Played it at Worlds plenty of times, and he's bringing it back here in the North American LCS. Liquid to make their decisions. I don't expect them to show a solo lane right now. Actually, they've shown Poppy, so maybe they actually will just show all of their solos. And this is honestly very strange. This draft is a bit confusing to me. They, again, rush pick a Zillion when Poelter is just going to play Lux every single game. And they take an Alistar, which is probably the only high priority one that I would have expected to see early on.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're just tunneling on exactly what they want to play. It is something that Team Dingertoss said they have been doing since they've been struggling, is they just picked a composition, practice the crap out of it, get your execution down, and just play it against anything.
Yeah.
And Immortals is a team that has been doing, somewhat similar style compositions, even though they have really diverse total champion pool. But for Team Liquid, a team that has been struggling, not the worst thing. They're making sure they get their picks, and they're going to be able to double pick their bottom lane at the end.
Okay.
Well, don't say it's a great draft, but I can see a reason for it.
Yeah, it's a logical draft at the very least. The Janna does come through for Adrian. I think literally no one here is surprised that champion came through the Soraka ban. Twisted Fate is actually the pickup for Pobelter. He had played Lux his last 3 games and actually hasn't played TF since week 1 against Cloud9, but brings it back here and says, you know what, this is the time for this champion here, and I want to see what it's going to synergize with, as they still need a top laner to play for Immortals.
Huni will be able to counterpick against the... Oh, they're doing it!
They're doing it. Udyr comes through. Chat, you get to cast an Udyr game.
I get to cast an Udyr game. I've actually been waiting for this. I will get into it in a little bit.
You will get into it in a little bit.
I'm not going to play all of my cards yet,
but
I will have much to say, and I think Dardoch is the player to do it. I haven't actually seen Dardoch play Udyr personally, but he has the correct style of play where Udyr will be good for him. Fast clears, lots of high pressure, and typically fearless. So that's what you need to play Udyr.
And we're seeing the occasional Pantheon hover as Adrian circles through champions. I actually think there's a good chance that Immortals just played CLG all week, and both teams realize that Pantheon top is good.
I do have to clarify about Udyr, though.
Okay.
I never pick it into Janna. I think Janna is the single best champion against Udyr. It has changed a little bit now that Udyr can get so many movement speed items. Sometimes he can work around it, but Janna with the ultimate, the Zephyr, the Tornado, is so hard for Udyr to work around. It'll be already a tough game for Dardoch going in.
All right, and Immortals actually building pretty low crit on the double marksman composition. Quinn in the top lane is going to be the pickup for Huni here, who's not against a hyper tank like Malphite, but more against a more fighter type like this Poppy. So we'll see if Huni can find some advantage here. I actually am very curious to see how the Quinn vs Poppy matchup will play out, because there's a lot of room for outplay on both sides here. Poppy to go, of course, alongside this Udyr from Dardoch, and you see Team Liquid actually, there are parts that I like here, though. You have Zillion to haste heavily 3 different really scary melee champions into the enemy team. The Udyr going at light speed, the Poppy, or the Alistar going at light speed can definitely be scary. Piglet on a very high uptime backline AD carry can belt out tons of damage.
Exactly. Udyr is a great person for enchanters to put stuff onto him, and Zilean can speed him up so much, whether it's a Lulu, a Zilean gives very similar move speed, and then instead of a shield can just bring a revive. So I expect the majority of the Zilean move speeds to go onto Udyr, and if he gets a bear stun, that chains very well into a Zilean double bomb.
Oh yeah.
So the synergy is real, even if Janna is a good champion against it. The incredible move speed that the Zilean can add on top of that might be enough to overcome.
So we'll see how well that goes, guys. It's going to be a very fun game. It's our match of the week, and Team Liquid have definitely a very interesting composition, so we'll see if they can win this one against the undefeated Immortals. Tweet at LetLoseSports, #TL winner, #IMT win, because this, I think, is going to be a very exciting game. Liquid can certainly bounce back from their loss yesterday, but Immortals looking to make it 12-0. Many consider them untouchable, but you never know. These teams can always bring it out and give you a great game. Liquid versus Immortals. Who's it gonna be? Here we go into the game.
Yeah, Immortals still going for that undefeated season. This will mark the 2/3 point if they're able to win this. But Dardoch's Udyr stands in the way. Well, and also the rest of Team Liquid.
Yes.
But I'm going to be focusing on one thing in particular.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Dardoch is using, of course, the best Udyr skin.
He's doing the thing too, so this is actually very key. Notice how he is in Phoenix stance already. Dardoch has used Phoenix stance in base, so his first auto attack will shoot the flames in the jungle. Also, it allows you to spam a really annoying noise on the opponent, which you can't do if you haven't done Phoenix stance. And Dardoch was doing that. It's like, if you ever just skill up Phoenix and then press Control 2 and just spam 2 over and over again, you make the most annoying noise with that Udyr skin. It's one of my favorite things.
But have you heard Lulu's laugh? Or Lux's?
Or Korean Lissandra.
Oh, or Korean Vi is worse than Korean Lissandra. Korean Vi, I think, is actually the...
See? It's... No, he's not doing the right one. You can make a louder noise.
Dardoch, take lessons.
Make the noise.
Watch this VOD. Learn how to play it better. Lorlo hit a double jungle with him. And we'll see. Does he have the mechanics, chat?
Either way. Well, the thing is, it's all about optimization when you're Udyr jungling. So he's going to hit first and then proc his Phoenix stance immediately. Notice the flames come out, then he procs it again. So he had 2 consecutive flame attacks, which is a minor thing, but it's all about pulling ahead of the enemy jungler when you're playing Udyr.
Udyr, a farm-heavy, really gold-hungry jungler, and you can see hits Turtle, gets the shield, then Phoenix right away.
Dardoch has at least played enough games on Udyr to know the way to jungle him. Notice how he's positioning so his flames can go through all 3 of the camps. Also, he pressed Turtle stance on the way to the camp, but then his first attack was still Phoenix. The Turtle shield persists for 5 seconds on Udyr, so whenever you can, mana permitting, you want to be using that before you start the camp, and also finishing camps with it so that you can start with the Phoenix stance on the next one.
Very nice stuff. Nice headbutt pulverize onto Wild Turtle, and look at the damage coming out already. Piglet and Matt, nice early trade there. Adrian could not block enough of that damage. You consider the fact that these guys are still level 1. Matt and Piglet, I believe, did start Krugs for themselves, and while the Immortals duo lane did, in fact, get Gromp for themselves, they just didn't get enough XP, and the level 2 power spike came in for a good trade, and it means that Turtle's already out his first potion.
Yeah, and Piglet's had some really successful games on Caitlyn this year, even into Kalista. He's very good at keeping that max range on Caitlyn and not letting Kalista get aggressive onto him. So Piglet and Matt giving that Kalista through in Champ Select, picking their bottom lane last, and still being able to get a very powerful duo.
Well played right here. Fervor of battle, both marksmen not named Corki. Again, the right way to do it. Actually, all 3 marksmen. It's the same for Huni as well. I can see the case for Thunderlords in that, but auto attacks are going to be the case for him. Wind Speaker on Alistair is for sure always what you want to do in case there's ever any debate in your mind. It's definitely Wind Speaker, guys. I'm going to keep doing the Keystone talk for a little bit here. It'll slowly wind down as players learn more and more about the masteries. But as the bot lane is pushed in, Immortals have the smallest of gold leads right now, mostly because Huni is so very far ahead of Lorlo early on in the laning phase, and Dardoch is right now not really out-clearing Reignover by much.
Yeah, it's kind of insane how much Quinn can pressure Poppy early on in the laning phase. Dardoch hits level 4, puts his first point into bear stance, so his skill order was R, W, R, and then E, which is pretty standard for Udyr since he can full clear so quickly.
And again, the headbutt pulverize comes in. Piglet this time could not land the net, so it's auto attack into Q. If you can, though, the net actually guarantees the Q does not have fall-off damage against the champion. And so if you can EQ auto, and the auto has a million range, so you can get that, that is the optimal trade for Caitlyn. couldn't get it here. That's fine. Minions are minions. But look at this. An early dive by Immortals.
Such an early roam.
Lorlo stuck in a turret. There's the gold card. Powelter pulls the aggro, does plenty of damage. Huni gets blocked up by the steadfast presence. Doesn't matter. Right over. The jump hoist throws turret. Ooh. Woo. Nearly down to the turret. Does get away. Great early dive. Good play by Immortals.
Powelter's got a flash, though.
Yep.
Yeah, did not want to follow over the wall because he didn't have vision of Rainover or anyone else, and Uter could have ended up dying here, but that'll be a lot of early experience for Dardoch. It's surprising that Powelter was able to make that roam so early.
Ooh, big misstep there. The javelin did not come in. Oh, Piglet dangerously low as well. Exhausted come through for Adrian, who is still chasing, but Adrian's Tornado did not come in time to stop Matt's headbutt pulverize. He tried to time it and predict it, and that would have been insane, but a quarter second off, Adrian nearly made that a 2v1.
Yeah, Janet can be very good against the Alistair, interrupting the headbutt with the Tornado, but instead it's a 2 summoner for 1 trade, and Piglet continue to dominate this lane against Wild Turtle and Adrian.
Up 18 CS, forcing the recall, so all those minions are just going to go nowhere. Adrian can absorb some money, getting that 1 gold per kill from Bandit, but misses the Zephyr, not going to get some of these CS. Plus 17 finally gets a bit more gold, but wow, Wild Turtle falling very far behind, and in fact, this happened a little bit yesterday as well. The Immortals duo lane have been falling behind this week.
Yeah, not their week. They've definitely looked a little bit off. And that has prompted a lot of focus from Rainover to push a little hard with Huni in the top lane. Didn't cost him yesterday against Renegades, but today they do already have that big lane advantage, and they're looking to pressure Lorlo the whole game. I mean, Rainover even said in the tease at the start of the day, oh yeah, Team Liquid, we can deal with them. We'll just shut down Lorlo. So they're very telegraphed about what they want to do to this guy.
Sure.
Huni picks him in with a counter pick in the last matchup. Rainover uses all his ganks there, and Dardoch has been farming up the lane. Uter does not operate well when he has to focus 1 lane, because Uter wants to cycle constantly in the jungle and needs to make his ganks convenient for him. Otherwise, he'll fall behind. But that means if you're in a bad top lane matchup, it's really difficult for Uter to succeed.
Lorlo having to sit on a bit of an island. This lane will now start pushing towards the Papa here. Huni level 6. And of course, Powelter still gaining levels, is not far from that Destiny himself. Actually just gets the ulti rank now. And it's interesting. I want to see what Immortals can do with this, because bot lane is getting far behind, and Piglet can maybe even 1v5 this game if he gets big enough on Caitlyn. We've seen it happen with players like Reckless before. And Huni is not on the best late game champion. Quinn is not Kale or, you know, Uter, who can do a whole bunch of stuff 60 minutes in.
Should go.
Flash pulverize into the headbutt backwards. Not good for Wild Turtle. Tornado comes across and Adrian says goodbye. I'm not part of this anymore. Turtle gets a few more attacks in, but will go down. Well played gank. Dardoch came to make sure it happened. The kill comes through. Good job, Team Liquid.
Yep, Matt was worried that Wild Turtle is going to be able to flash out of his pulverize, but he waits just long enough, gets it, and they just alley-oop it straight back to Uter. So Dardoch is kind of jump-started in the jungle here and going straight for the Dragon Control. I do have to point out, he's gone without the Chilling Smite, which is the most common smite for Uter, because it's all about move speed differential for him. But in this particular case, because he has the Zillion to speed him up, he's probably going to be able to gap close in the later game anyway, so he's instead gone for the more pro-play viable tracking smite.
Yeah. And also rushing Hunter's Potion early on before finishing Runic Echoes, so a lot of sustain in the jungle.
Yeah, Rainover also splitting the map expertly. Even with Udyr, who's a super fast clear, Rainover is keeping up with that from a farm perspective, and once he gets Runic Echoes, he's actually outpacing Dardoch in levels, which is so impressive, and has had the successful ganks for a 40 CS advantage for Huni in the top lane. So it's still advantage Rainover, even though Dardoch is doing pretty well on Udyr.
Yeah, gold-wise, they're definitely very close, of course, with the fact that Dardoch has the kill compared to the assist of Rainover. There's more money on this champion, but he's constantly looking to make this top lane happen. Lorlo's Trinket Ward spots that in the Tribe Rush, but look at that, 21 CS. Oof. 8 minutes in. I mean, Lorlo is the punching bag of Immortals right now.
So brutal for him. I mean, Dardoch is up there for help, but if he ends up waiting there, it's just not the situation he wants to be in. No lane swap here either, which may have been beneficial to just get Lorlo out of that situation with Huni. But Immortals is very willing to dictate to their opponents, and they probably would have swapped back and forth until Huni would get the solo matchup. Yeah. Still think Team Liquid should have gone for that game, since this is not going well in the top lane.
It's not going well in the top lane, but the mid lane and bot lane are still fine. Of course, we saw that earlier kill, and we've been seeing Piglet win the laning phase, but also look at this, Phoenix pretty far ahead against Powelter. Of course, Powelter did roam at about level 4, like very early on to this game, which will make him lose a wave or two, but still, minus about 15 is more than he would have normally lost just from that one play. And Phoenix is going to do his best to keep pushing forward. Of course, there is cleanse on the Zillion, so chain stun into kill is not likely to happen. You can always get that ulti off onto a teammate. Right now, a 1,000 gold lead sits for Immortals with, you know, the kills being equal. That means it's 1,000 gold worth of farm.
Yeah. Both junglers actually know, they don't know that they're spotted, but the junglers know the other jungler is there. Dardoch walked over ward and River Rainover was sitting on a ward. So that gank's not really going anywhere. Smartly, Dardoch goes in for the counter jungle, but they have to be careful because Twisted Fate can collapse.
TF can, and so is Quinn. Huni is running across the map, but now burns a teleport to show up, and look at that, Dardoch forced to flash away from Pobelter. Now stuck in a 1v4, a whole bunch of damage comes through, but guess what? There's a Zillion, and he's gonna revive. The bombs come through, Rainover takes a stun, Matt still in the front lines. A lot of damage to Adrian, whose fate's called out. Wild Turtle's gotta be careful though, he's on the wrong side. Pushes Adrian right back in, who monsoons to buy a bit more time, and these kills are gonna be so close, and it's 2 for Immortals, make that 3 for Immortals. A double kill, Huni almost gets a third, but they have slaughtered TL.
Yeah, and I don't think they want Piglet to get this recall off. They don't have too much, but I think this is turning into a 4th kill. Great collapse by Immortals, and here's the dive.
There's the dive, there's the kills, there's the rend. They made sure it happened. Huni pulled the wave to make sure that the next mini wave could come in. Then they executed the dive. Adrian, well played, jumping right back in, buying enough time. 0-0-4 on him. 5-1 Immortals. Great fight.
I'm really sad the first pro-ooter in the North American LCS has to play against Immortals, who is just so good at collapsing and mispositioning people. He's not at the farm state where he can make the super aggressive invades, and he did not have enough time to make that invade, so Immortals collapsed quite expertly on him, with Huni teleporting in as well as Pobelter coming in for TF. Very crazy fight. This turned into a full-on 5v5. So great stun by Dardoch to delay Pobelter on the gold card, but the gold card still catches him, and Phoenix does arrive with the stun. But at the same time, the rest of Team Liquid is slower to the start of the fight than Immortals is. Adrian gets pulled back, but then has the balls to go back in, still has his ultimate as well, so he can heal up safely and clump everyone for Immortals to finish the collapse onto them. Even though Immortals was split off into 2 sections, they grouped up Team Liquid in the mid of the fight and were able to land a bunch of AoE.
Yeah. That's the last dive. You see the minions getting pulled in.
Yeah, they don't even wait for the minions. Huni just
finish so they have it.
Decides to tank it as soon as Wild Turtle and Adrian are ready to go in.
Huni E into 1 auto attack and walk backwards out up to a range. He knows his team can secure it. The Janna shield helps make sure he survives it all, and just a really well played and well executed dive. Top lane still under fire as well, and Huni's got red buff. That affects turrets. That thing's going down really quickly. And Immortals 5 kills to 1, about to be 2 turrets to 0, and a 6,000 gold lead. Out of basically nowhere, 12 minutes in.
Immortals looking to make a statement after their tricky game against Renegades yesterday.
Yeah.
Taking this one very quickly.
They are.
So far. As you said, 12 minutes in, 5,000 gold lead.
It's extreme.
Bordering on absurdity.
Just Immortals things.
Also, Dardoch did pick Udyr into Janna, so it will always be a difficult life. Also against a Twisted Fate. Udyr loves to go Swiftness boost, but it's really hard to go Swiftness boost against the hard CC of a Twisted Fate.
And top lane 2-2 is already gone. The rest of the team joined Huni. Janna showed up, gave him a shield. 4 people, I believe, were up in that lane as Pobelter held mid. It meant they had to leave bot lane alone, but oh no, some minions died to a turret. Meanwhile, the turret itself was taken out in the top side, so Immortals pushing farther ahead. That lead now 6,500. Yeah, like, it's just getting worse and worse here. Rainover now inside his left-hand jungle. Blue buff is completely there as Immortals own about 80% of the map now.
Yeah. Rainover showing us why he continues to be king of the jungle.
Yep.
Farming faster than Dardoch's Udyr. And then also getting off the more successful game.
Uh-oh. They found a Zillion, but they also found Dardoch and Matt. Huni walks away. No one with the combo, though. Matt didn't go for the headbutt pulverize, despite the fact that those 2 were alone. That could have been a pickoff, honestly, onto Huni.
Yeah, I don't think they had quite the right fog of war control, so they weren't sure where people were going to be. Probably a little bit afraid of Froggish flying at the end of the fight. Turns out to just be Rift Herald, and I know earlier in the day we saw Quinn picked into Malphite, which is a bad matchup. But Quinn is also not just about the matchup, it's about how you play the map with it.
Yes.
Huni there recognized that the bottom lane was getting pushed, very quickly was able to cover down there. It's all about wave manipulation and just being able to always get the enemy pressure.
Yep. He's the only player on this Immortal squad with 100% kill participation for this game, so he has made everything happen. He was the winning lane, they ganked for him, then he roamed down and made the other team fights happen. Blue team has slain the Dragon, so well played the dart up, but the fight continues now. Matt locks Pobelter into the team, but you know what? He's not taking that much damage. Janna buys some time, a great explosive cast, and Piglet is trapped, and he goes down to rain over. Matt follows suit, the bot lane of Liquid is dead, and now comes Twisted Fate. Gold card onto Lorlo, the flash tornado for Adrian, there's the kill. Stun to the wall does not matter, a double for Pobelter, 8-1 Immortals with another victory.
Yeah, Team Liquid does pick up their second Dragon, but Immortals easily engages a 4v5 in the Dragon pit. Turtle was way over on the other side of the map, but they still win this fight swimmingly. 3 kills for 0, and they may even get, they're going to get at least 1 turret. I think they're going to somehow turn this into 2.
They somehow can. It just feels like this team pushes better than other teams do. Bot lane being pushed in right now, that's going to be under turret as well. And, you know, Immortals don't need these Dragon buffs. They don't seem to do much for them. They're just getting the gold from killing champions, killing turrets, and out farming. So we're at 10,000 up at 15 minutes.
Yeah, very close to. That's one of the largest advantages I've seen all year. Yeah, Matt wants to go in for this, and it was actually a 4v3 within the Dragon pit, although Team Liquid had the option of having 5 people there. It was only 3 people doing the Dragon, the rest were caught mid lane, so it's not so bold of a call when you're 4 people catching 3 in a Dragon pit. Then the rest of the collapse is there for Twisted Fate. Yeah. Team Liquid really just feels like they can't catch up. They've been so far behind. They had the call to go for the Dragon, but if they were ever going to win a fight, it would have been in a 5v4, but they only had 3 people there because they were worried about clearing the minions from the mid lane, and that's a map pressure thing.
Yeah, it is.
Immortals has all the lanes pushing at once, and Team Liquid just couldn't find the time to prove it.
Immortals, I think, are easily the best team in North America at map pressure. For whatever reason, they always have the lanes where they want them. They always have the turrets available to be killed. Every time Immortals win a team fight, at least a turret died. Every single time. There's always a lane in the right spot for that to be just taken over. Really impressive stuff by Immortals. The entire game, they've played this quite cleanly.
Now go back to the starter sentence. Immortals is the best team in North America, full stop.
True.
Don't even need to elaborate sometimes because they have been doing everything the best. That's the big reason they're undefeated. And the next closest team has 4 losses. They are way into first place here. And just showing us why, again, here against Team Liquid.
And look at this by Adrian, actually, rushing into Eye of the Watchers on Janna. He had actually, in every game up until now, gone Frost Queen's claim on this champion. And instead wants that 4th ward. Doesn't seem to need the tools to start fights because, well, they have Pobelter and Huni. Do you even need Frost Queens? And look at that Phoenix. Cleanses, gets gold carded afterwards. It goes, jeez, that damage. Okay, to be fair, Huni took some as well. But Immortals are constantly finding people to fight, finding people to kill. And this turret might be next.
Yeah, really good return of damage on a Phoenix right there, but they just move bottom lane, and it's the other 3 people that are pushing that. Meanwhile, Lorlo has to clear out the wave that Huni already shoved up in the top lane. That's the Quinn coast-to-coast play. Get the lane shoving, someone respawns, create a 2v1. Didn't get the kill, but it still gave them a numbers advantage somewhere, and they take yet another turret, their 5th of the game, down bottom side.
Really impressive stuff here. Immortals continue to push farther and farther ahead. I want to note that one of the least talked about changes of 6 point, I think it was actually 2, was the Kerchay's shard costs less, which is a little like mini static shiv. And the thing is, he bought that and then also got a longsword on Huni's Quinn right there. I don't think he bought it just to have the stats of the lightning bolt, but I'm curious if that was like actually the intentional build there, or if he will continue to go into Hexdrinker or something.
Energized attacks will deal 40 bonus magic damage on hit.
Yeah.
I usually avoid pronouncing that item, and I just let it sit in inventory. So like, oh yeah, he's going for a Shiv item.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I just go for it.
Was that the correct pronunciation?
Kerchay's?
Kerchay's shard?
I assume it's a proper noun, so unless someone corrects me and says, here's how you say it. For now, it's canon.
All right.
Fight me. Immortals looking to close out on our last game of the day. 8-1, 18 minutes in, and 11,000 gold lead. This is actually, while they won't win sub 20 minutes, they've done that twice before already this season, though. This is certainly one of the biggest leads at this point in the game. Not only just this year, but in competitive history. This is a massive, massive advantage. Rainover cannot quite steal away that blue buff. Liquid can be safe in knowing that they got that buff over to the people they wanted. But the map is just falling away.
I remember a few EDG games where it was 15 or 17,000 by 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And I wonder with all the turrets when Immortals won their 18-minute game, what their gold lead was there. But like you say, these are the games you actually don't see that frequently.
Yeah.
Because a team really has to have, like, it's all about the gold difference. So if they did a lane swap and they trade 4 turrets, right, it's going to give less turret advantage when a team is up. But this is 5 turrets to 0, 8 kills to 1, and a double CS advantage in 1 lane. So that's the types of things that need to happen to have this type of gold lead.
Really rough stuff. Approaching the Flame Horizon is Huni, and I actually wonder what the record is for Flame Horizoning someone else, which is, by the way, plus 100 CS over your lane opponent. But right now, 19 minutes in, he's nearly there, 168 to 87. He's got 19 to go, 18 to go, less now. And Huni, I mean, he counterpicked into a good matchup. The team ganked for him repeatedly. I mean, this is clearly a team effort to get Huni this far ahead, but look at that, into the turret they go. Phoenix has to ult, he will revive himself. Matt buys a bit of time with the stun. Immortals still under the turret, and somehow they managed to drop aggro well. Lorlo dangerously low, but Poets are ult's getting attacked. Knocked into the air, exhausted. I think he might have dodged a bomb with that as well, but another tornado lands. One kill already through onto Lorlo. Matt might be next. Rainover stuck under the turret, taking damage. More barrels coming through, plenty of punishment, and whoa, Rainover does go down. As you say, a triple stun is a really big deal coming out of Phoenix. That means the fight is a 1-for-1, way better than many would have expected for Liquid.
Yeah, Pobelter went really deep right there, and they also didn't hold off properly on that.
He dodged one, he did not dodge the other. He will trade a kill, but go down to Matt. He slams the ground, and victory, a 1-for-1 yet again.
Oh wow, but Turtle and Adrian and Quinn are kind of on the hunt to clean up the backside of this fight.
Yep.
Never deterred from what is looking like a disastrous situation. It looks like Immortals is going to get the turret at the end of this anyway.
Every time a battle happens, Immortals get the turret. Every time.
Oh my god.
Whether you got killed or not, it's whatever. 6 turrets now picked up by Immortals. Lorlo does get some farm in the side lane and will crest that 100 mark very shortly. We watch that fight again, though.
Yeah, so the double bombs do not get the stun. One is picked up by Wild Turtle on the backside. The main thing we need to focus on, though, is the bottom of this fight here where Pobelter is way down there. And Dardoch flashes on him for the stun. But the ultimate from Lorlo actually stops Ace in the Hole from doing damage to Pobelter, which stalled the fight pretty poorly. This is where the fight could have been very disastrous for Immortals because Phoenix gets a triple stun with a double bomb onto Huni. Piglet's able to last hit Rainover, and they continue their retreat. But even Team Liquid is very low here, so any kill they're going to chase down, it's going to be pretty tricky because Immortals is never willing to just completely back away from a fight, which I think eventually will backfire and lead to like a really lopsided loss for them. But up until this point, it's been working out for them, so there's no reason to not play so aggressively.
It really has. So Immortals continuing with the hard pushes and with the minion waves always pushed up. Even if they lose a fight, they seem to never lose a turret. I harken back to their C9 victory from last week, and even though the team fights in Immortals vs C9 were so very close, Cloud9 could never take something off the map. They got maybe 2 turret kills all game, and Immortals had taken the entire base every time around. So, again, as you said, Immortals, best team in North America, full stop, showing it here. Just the class of this team, the caliber of their players, and the caliber of their macro play, certainly very, very high. 12,500 gold up, 21, almost 22 minutes in. And this is what everyone imagines when they pick Quinn into a tank top lane. Win the early laning phase before the armor items, and then roam around the map and make things happen. Huni is doing that very, very well. Affecting the lanes, affecting the matchups. Still highest KP on his team, 10 out of 11. No deaths either. Did in fact go all the way to rapid fire cannon, so there's what the Kerchase Shard was for. And we'll see just what the Jarm's Fist goes into.
Yeah, looking to set up a play or a Baron. They do have Callista, so they have tremendous Baron control. They also have teleport up on Huni, so he's going to be split pushing the bottom lane. I don't think Immortals is going to straight up just do the Baron without proper vision control or without a pick. They have Twisted Fate, they have Gragas. Rainover will have his flash up in under a minute, and I think that's when we're going to see them really start forcing.
So we wait for those cooldowns to come through. Wild Turtle clears the top lane. No threat on him at all. 206 to 118, the top lane matchup. Wild Turtle actually still behind in minions, and he hasn't been the most impactful player on his team at 2-1 and 2, but you know what? It's been good enough to keep the turret alive and to be a part of some of these fights. There comes the engage. They find Matt, who's already popped the ulti and is trying to run away as fast as possible. Exhaust now onto Huni to buy him enough time to survive. Plotting Assault will not land, and we'll walk away.
Yeah, the cooldowns that had to be burned by Immortals are very small. A Ghost Blade, it's on a 45-second cooldown. Huni's still at full health. Meanwhile, Matt had to exhaust and ultimate. So if Team Liquid did want to look into this Baron, it would be for a 4v5. So that's the right time to turn and burn onto it.
There it is. Smite comes in. Last hit goes to Huni, but now the ulti in from Pobelter to flank right on. Phoenix has to immediately burn Cleanse, taking damage from Ignite as well, but the team will run away safely. Huni is still on the hunt, looking for some prey. Won't find any just yet, but we'll walk to the bottom lane to kill some minions off. Baron buff on 15,000 gold lead. Huni clearing a minion wave pretty quickly there. 214, the minion score for him. and despite how much he's roaming around the map, is still managing to be the highest minion killing player in the game.
Yeah. Quinn makes very quick movements.
Yes, she does.
Around the map. Plus, he had that big advantage from the laning phase.
Yeah.
About 1,500 gold in multiple pockets for Immortals, so they're sitting on about 6,000 unspent gold, but they still, even with that, would have nearly a 10,000 gold advantage and a Baron buff, so they look to push hard.
Combo in from Matt, but no one else is in the gold credit item as it is Alistair. Now a tackle onto Wild Turtle, and yes, they blow him up. He goes down. Huni nearly dropped as well, so hey, good fight by Liquid to get one, nearly 2 kills. But now comes them trying to run. Can you outrun a Janna team?
Yeah, and Gragas, who can throw slows behind them, so probably no extended chase. 1 kill. Kind of why you don't like sieging with 6,000 gold in your pocket,
yeah.
but it was a 6,000 gold advantage anyway, so they thought they could do it. Again, Phoenix has some pretty good bomb stuns on the turret. That's what ends up. Huni just has things detonate on his face. Cobelter takes turret aggro here, and yeah, Huni just does not respect the Cillian.
He actually vaulted into Steadfast Presence as well and took some more damage there.
Yeah. Overly aggressive play, but they still have Baron buff timing. I think they're going to look to go right back there. I like the Captain Boots Adrian going back to catch his Callista and help him speed down the lane. Yeah,
he picked that up very early. That was right after Eye of the Watchers came through. And then also now, Mikhail's Crucible picked up very early, so understands that, yeah, popping stun at a double bomb is kind of the way people die. So let's give them a cleanse. Let's break that stun and try to get them out. We'll see how much more Adrian can save lives this game. Unkilled in this game has always got to feel nice. Double bomb will knock down the blue buff. Raynor sadly could not steal that either.
I'm a little sad for Dardoch this game as well. He's potentially caught out here in the jungle, trying his best to get farm. I didn't like the fact that he built Hunter's Potion. I feel like that's wasted gold on Udyr, especially with Runic Echoes. You can conserve your mana enough to not need it. But aside from that, his team has been so far behind.
Wow, Lorlo flashed from the threat of getting jumped on. I don't think everyone was even in range of him, but he flashed away, afraid of Huni. The rapid fire cannon, of course, helping him knock down these turrets, so Huni's still able to split push very effectively. Steric's Gauge was picked up. Now he's going towards another armor penetration item. The rest of the team roams down to make sure this bottom inhibitor can go down. A few more hits will do it. The shield on Huni. One more auto attack, and there it goes. Inhibitor goes down 26 minutes in. Immortals continuing to press their advantages. As they set 11-4 in kills. Now mid lane also under fire, and guess what? Liquid aren't even around, so another turret killed without any threat of combat for that damage. Matt knocked into the air, stunned for 1,000,000 years it seems, and Huni dodging the bombs. Matt will go down, an unstoppable Huni, and a nice combo comes in from Rainover, means Lorlo will go down as well. A double kill for the Quinn. Adrian knocked in, the vault continues, and a triple kill comes through. Make that a quadra kill for Huni.
For the penta.
No going for it this time, and a pentakill for Huni. After all, on the Quinn. Beautiful game. That's going to be the Nexus. That's going to be the game. 12-0 to Immortals.
And a nice fitting finish for Immortals there. The man, they were focusing ganks for all game. Flanks in the back of the base. Of course, with a 15,000 gold lead. And Piglet doesn't even flash away to deny that penta.
Real recognize real, chat.
But Huni gets it.
When Huni plays that well, that's those games where you deserve the penta.
That's true. Yeah, Piglet comes off Fountain after that. He's healing full. I think he's trying to get... No, Piglet gave that penta away.
I think it's still deserved. Pentas are earned, and whether they're gifted or not, sometimes that still counts as earned. 23,000 damage dealt in a 27-minute game. Quinn does not normally do 900 damage per minute, but that just sometimes happens when you're Huni. When you get a good matchup, your team ganks your lanes constantly, and he was empowered to make those plays. And again, that's what's in everyone's eyes when they envision picking Quinn for their team, is that situation. Dominate your lane, gank for it, get him ahead, power spike early, roam around, abuse that advantage. That's what people see when they see that champion, and that's what Huni did this game.
Yeah, the Quinn fantasy, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely.
Really great game. Wild Turtle was pretty underwhelming, but that's kind of the Immortals way. You can have a player be underwhelming, and they'll still find ways to win the game handily.
Yep.
And it's troubles afoot for Team Liquid now. That's their 4th loss in 5 games after surging to a 4-game win streak after an 0-3 start. So really a back and forth year for Team Liquid.
Yeah.
Trending downwards.
And they play a team that's 1 game behind them next up. Impulse sitting at 4 wins, Liquid sitting at 5. That's their first round matchup next week. And that is not a game you get to drop. If you drop that game, if you are worse than Impulse, you are now the 8th place team.
Yeah.
Echo Fox already challenging 6th. And that's now a tie, by the way. Echo Fox have tied Liquid in 6th. So 6 and 7 are between those teams. Impulse are right behind that at 8. Dignitas, by the way, also at 4 wins, tied at 8.
It's getting tight down there.
That's now where Liquid resides.
Yeah, Liquid was looking like they were going to pull away, and we're going to have a very clear, like, oh, these are the playoff teams.
Right.
These are the teams fighting for 7th, but that's different now. Yeah. Liquid has fallen down fairly heavily, and there is going to be a race for that final playoff spot.
They are 1 game between playoffs and relegation. We'll see which way it goes in the last 6 games of the split. But for now, this game is, of course, about Immortals going 12-0. For more, let's send it down to Riv and Hola Hooni.
Thank you very much for EKcast on the day, gentlemen. I am joined by Hooni after his first pentakill in the NA LCS. I only got a few questions for you, Hooni, and my first one is, why are you so good? What makes you such a good player?
First of all, I'm just Hooni. Hooni means that I have to be good. I think a lot of people, like, since when I was in amateur from U player, like, there was a lot of fans like cheering me, even I'm just foreigner. But so I have to like practice for them. Like, they're cheering me. So I didn't want to like to them make it disappoint because I'm bad, like something like this. So I just practice and then make it good. So.
Well, the practice is definitely paying off. I have a final question for you, Hooni. It's very reminiscent, the run you guys are having here in North America, to how you did with Fnatic in Europe. Do you get the same feeling with Immortals? Are you guys going to go undefeated?
I think it's pretty much like, I would not say like similar, but it's kind of different. But just our goal is pretty much the same. Like, it's just 18-0, make it, and then just being undefeated. I think this feeling is like really happy. Of course, this is exactly the same, but I think it's just as just different team being Immortals. I think it's pretty much different feeling.
Well, you yourself, 32 straight regular season wins. Congrats on the Penta in the NALCS, and good luck to the team in the rest of the split. We're going to throw it to the guys at the analyst desk to break down the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Riv. And before we get into any analysis on that game or anything else, we're going to take another look at that pentakill. Very exciting way to end a big win for Immortals there. So we're just going to roll this out from the beginning. Hooni was a monster on this Quinn the entire game, not just here in the final fight.
Yeah, look at that. He starts it off flanking and going straight to the back line, chunking down Piglet just to get him out of the fight, and then swings over to the rest of the team. Here comes an extra kill. Got the last auto off before the cleanse flash from Phoenix was able to get him out of range, and cleans up the last one there on Piglet, finishing what he started at the very beginning of the fight.
Holo, holo, holo.
A pentakill for Hooni. You know, we had wondered if their struggles yesterday or their success as a whole over the split
light a fire.
Yeah, would yesterday's struggles light a fire, or would they have become complacent because of how well they were doing? Dyrus, I know you said it while we were watching the game. Not at all. It does not look like they've become complacent.
They're scary. Like, usually when you lose games or you get close to losing, I guess that lit their like flame, and they're like, man, we played really sloppy yesterday. I guess it's time to really turn up the heat, and they really did this game.
Yeah, another very quick one from them today. I think kind of the one major thing that I want to look at in this game is the use of that Quinn, because we were pretty critical about Quinns earlier. Granted, there was no Malphite in this game, but we have been critical of teams and their use of Quinn, and we've talked about how to use that champion properly, and Immortals, they did just that.
Yeah, so not only do you play around your winning matchup and send people to the top lane, where they were able to bully Lorlo with the first giant wave that was built up under the turret. You know, they sent Pobelter as well as Reignover up there to zone him off of the turret, get him behind in CS, and then they had a big advantage to work with in that matchup. But they also paired the Quinn pick with a TF pick, so they have 2 forms of global pressure that they're able to snowball in mid-game.
What they did to Lorlo that game was exactly what they should have done to KFO from TIP to...
in the KL game.
Yeah, that's the exact idea that you want to put. And when you're in Lorlo's position, you got to be in damage control. You got to get armor Quinns, a Doran shield. Like, you just got to survive, man. And at the same time, you got to think about, like, where your jungler's going. They put a lot of pressure going towards bottom, and Piglet really won out in CS there. But, you know, in the end, top laners, they have TP. They can help the whole map, and Quinn is really fast. And one of the big reasons why Quinn works so much better for them is not only because Huni played it well, but because there was no lane swap, there was no malfight. It was just them abusing Poppy.
Yeah, foresight and very clear win conditions for Immortals, and they executed on exactly that, putting a lot of focus into the top lane and then letting Huni affect the rest of the map. Solid win for Immortals, still undefeated. We'll see what happens as we wind down Week 6. These are how the teams are arranged. Immortals are ahead of the pack, with Cloud9 and CLG tied for 2nd place. TSM has moved to 4th, followed by Energy Esports in 5th. Echo Fox continues to rise up the standings, tying Liquid in 6th, while Dig has tied for 8th with Team Impulse after beating TSM. And Renegades are at the bottom of the table in 10th place. Here now, though, are the 5 players who stood among their peers. It's our OP5, and we start in the top lane with Balls.
Balls definitely had a huge performance this week, one of the biggest. The main thing that pointed out for his performance was GP, where he single-handedly almost carried the game against TSM, and he had a solid performance on Lulu as well.
Yeah, definitely even showing that he can play that supportive role today, be the carry yesterday, so covering his bases. If we move into the jungle, though, we're going to find his teammate Rush.
Which was pretty funny because Rush used the champion you expect him to use this week. However, he varied his builds greatly in all of his games. However, he was still a frontline, and he was building Cinderhulk over and over, and he was able to weave in and out of the team fights for Cloud9. And there was a lot of hype for all the damage dealers, and Balls, you know, played his part, but Rush was doing a really good job on the front line, not dealing as much damage because he was the point man, he was the tank, and he was creating plays.
Now we're going to jump to the mid lane, and we're going to find Froggen of Echo Fox leading the charge in that 4-0 for Echo Fox.
Ever since Froggen came back to the team, he's been having a solid performance with his team with a 9.3 KDA, a 96.6 kill participation this week, and there's no doubt that his impact has been large.
Yeah, without a doubt. Has some crazy statistics there. I mean, that kill participation is actually pretty nuts for a mid laner, considering the prevalence of lane swaps and how often small skirmishes have been breaking out. We're going to go to 80 carry. Lo and behold, his teammate as well, Keith.
Yes, if there was a counterpart here, the duo for Froggen is obviously Keith. He had a massive play on Lucian to get them that victory. His play really all weekend with Fox has been a really big part and another threat for Froggen, who is often playing the AP to Keith's AD.
Now, I hate to burst Keith's bubble here, but it's not just a duo, it's a trio. Our OP support, save the Lucian.
Dynamic
it's
kid.
big,
Here we go.
right?
Perfect.
Save the Lucian, and that's the thing. So, you know, and that's kind of why he's in. You got to round out this trio here, and his shot calling, as well as some big plays on Alistar, some really clutch headbutt pulverizes that closed out the game.
Yeah, we saw in that recap. Save the Lucian. It was all his idea.
Exactly.
He saved Keith
right.
with
You
that
know,
shot calling.
you know it wouldn't have happened if he didn't say it, right? I guess. Anyway, but breaking away from the competition and claiming this week's MVP title is going to be Balls. Balls brought the pain against TSM yesterday, and his clutch late game barrel placement blew up the competition.
I mean, 1,200 damage per minute. It was insane. Yes, there was a Soraka Silence to set that play up, and then Rush also had a good Lee Sin kick on it, but really good GP ultimate placement, plus the barrel chains were on point all day long. The Lulu game for him as well. He was able to play the supportive role for his team.
It's actually
flexible.
stark contrast here in DPM, Kobe, but it does kind of
that's
show.
a Lulu game.
But his Lulu did support Sneaky in his aggressive movements, micro movements in those team fights, where we saw Sneaky unlocked to go into the back line and challenge the back line of the enemy team while the front line was still alive. So at the end of the day, we're going to wrap things up, but fear not, there's more League of Legends action just around the corner on Wednesday. Tune your browsers to the sights and sounds of Primetime League at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then stick around for the all-important final day of the North American Challenger Series, where teams will battle it out for playoff spots. It kicks off with Team Dragon Knights and Ember. Then on Thursday, the LCS returns in Europe with G2 Esports taking on Elements in the first match of the day. After that, Giants will go up against Team Vitality before their match of the week, H2K versus Fnatic. And hitting your browsers next Saturday at noon is the return of the latest and greatest North American League action. We'll be starting off the day with Team Impulse versus Liquid, followed by Echo Fox versus TSM. Then on Sunday, be sure to check out our match of the week as Cloud9 squares off against Counterlogic Gaming. And here's where I want to take a pause and focus in on this matchup, because these are our teams that are tied for second place currently. This is a big one. Preliminary thoughts on that matchup next week.
At first, I thought TSM was the runner-up out of the three, but after today, my fanboyism has been slightly wavered, and I
Clearly
feel,
now.
We broke Dyrus today. Oh no.
I feel like the winner of this match is going to be pretty much the runner-up, and it's going to be really close.
All right.
It's exciting how close it looks like it's going to be, too, because even though you're like, oh, yeah, TSM's probably just barely dropping below them, they're still, you know, in that top kind of pack as well. But for specifically for this matchup with CLG and Cloud9, I'm even more excited after the week that Smithy just had for CLG, not only with the Nidalee game, but Gragas being back is huge for him as well. It really does enable a lot more playmaking for CLG.
Just one of many matches to look forward to next week. That's going to conclude our broadcast today. I'd like to extend a thank you to the wind beneath my wings, Dyrus, for joining us on the decks today. And for myself and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for the carry.
Week 6, day 2 here, flowing in. We're going to be getting onto the Rift right now. Renegades versus Counter Logic Gaming. Still is able to get the kill onto Xmithy. That's first blood. That's a double kill for Crumbs on the rec side. They probably get Afromuk here as well, but they're keeping it for Darshan.
Please? Yeah. Flash. I'm on side. Let's go. Ulted. Nice. Nice shot. Yo, I'm gonna put over the wall. Got him.
30 minutes in. CLG takes down Renegades. Oh, Kiwi! Kiwi goes in. Fitzgerald and Yellow Star immediately deleted. And look at this.
Lulu, Caitlyn.
Nice.
Caitlyn. You get her? You can chase. We can get Baron. Let's go, Baron.
Nice. Double doesn't know. Oh, he gets bumped into the team and immediately deleted. Team Dignitas takes down TSM.
Give me, please. Hey, here. Hey. Hey, give me here. Please. Why don't give me? Hey, I'm human too. Just don't die.
I'll tank it with shield.
That's all I can do.
I'll tank it with shield.
Just tank.
Oh my god.
No inhibitor.
We got it.
Now over to Altec, balls over the wall. He is just flying through with the whimsy. They ace down energy.
And C9 will tie for second place. There's the hard engage. Big starts it off, and he's tanky. The first one comes through. It's already a kill off of the gate. A second one in a period. The hammer comes down from Fang. Gate shunt below the Elise in the rafters. Flashed over the Baron pit. Culling tickles him at the very end of his thorax. Echo Fox making quick work of every team in front of them. The vault continues and a triple kill comes through. Make that a quadra kill for Hootie. No points back this time, and a pentakill for Hootie.
That's a go. Get it.
Pentakill! 12-0 to Immortals.